is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture.
Do you believe everything governments tell you? Yeah, you. Do you believe it?
This virus is nowhere near the numbers they're saying. The data is wrong. This is corruption beyond belief.
Or do you totally distrust every bloody thing they say?
To create apprehension, hatred, distrust.
This is a battle about what the truth actually is.
I reckon there's three sort of levels of it. Some people out there trust everything the bloody government says. Oh yeah, it's bloody true. Some people out there trust a little bit of it. Yeah, well, yeah, there's sort of.
Politicians are advised by a new class of technical experts in politics in order to manufacture new realities and manufacture political stories.
And some people, they don't trust a bloody word they say.
True.
This is Satan's last hurrah, because he's really the ruler of this planet.
Humanless technology. That's what we're talking about when we say 5G killed.
And if you don't trust them, what sort of a bloody hole have we got ourselves into that you don't bloody trust the very government that we've elected?
You have highly intelligent press handlers, manipulators.
I told lies on behalf of the government, sometimes at my own behest, sometimes because I was asked to do so.
The voice assertions. What we're giving you are facts and conclusions based on solid intelligence.
I had perpetrated a hoax on the UN Security Council on February the 5th, 2003. Today, I feel some grievous remorse over it.
Saddam Hussein and his regime have made no effort to disarm as required by the international community.
Can you give examples of other lies the US has told to justify the use of force in the world? The most vivid case in my memory is the war I fought in, the Vietnam conflict. But I will tell you that when I found out later, there were several reasons we persisted in that war in Vietnam, and none of them were God, country, apple pie, mom, security, or anything else. They were things like, could Lyndon Baines Johnson get reelected if he cut and ran from Vietnam?
It is by Hanoi's choice and not ours, and not the rest of the world, that the war continues.
How does it make me feel? It makes me feel terrible. It makes me feel like my country has failed me. It makes me feel like my government has failed me. It makes me feel like there is little to be trusted about the U.S. government with regard to the national security state anymore.
Now, the Ask Johnny channel recently did a hard-hitting expose on the US congressional UFO inquiry. And since that bloody hard-hitting expose, this bit of film has come to light.
What on earth is that?
Big,
What is it?
huge, yellow glow out there.
You may be the first television audience to see a flying saucer.
Now, this bloke, he was working for the US government in 1984, and they were flying drones around out in the bloody desert, testing drones.
I was a counterintelligence specialist. I handled counterintelligence operations for the United States Air Force. Back in the early 80s, we had a drone program at Kirtland Air Force Base, highly classified back then. So people would see these things flying around Kirtland Air Force Base, and we tried to deceive them or fool them to think that what they were seeing was in fact UFOs.
And then it seemed to just go together, make a ball, and fly out into that field.
No wonder there's bloody mistrust around when people see that bit of bloody film.
Health officials are urging Americans not to get all worked up over monkeypox.
And I think that the government was lying to them to encourage the thought that UFOs were flying around. And now we've got the direct opposite, that people are saying, well, there probably are UFOs flying around. How are people supposed to decide what's the truth and what's not?
We co-opted news organizations, local news media, and we planted stories, and they went along with it because they didn't know the truth.
How widespread was this operation?
It was very widespread. It went all the way up through the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And then from there, it would go up to the Director of Central Intelligence. And then from there, it would go to the White House.
Looks like a big cigar shade with light lit from both ends.
So now we've got a narrative where governments, particularly the US government, says, no, we have no comment on UFOs, we're going to make up stories and get people believing they're UFOs. And now we've got governments bloody stuck in a bloody hole where it has to say, well, they're there, but we don't know what they are.
One of the phenomena that we can't explain.
I do not have an explanation for what this specific object is.
And is this one of the situations where it is...
Do you think the lies you told about UFOs damaged the public's trust in the media?
Yes, I'd have to say, unfortunately it did. Because when the real story came out sometime later, they were deceived by the media, yeah.
And just as we start down the woods, well, it went up through the trees.
Do you believe it weakened the public's trust in the government as well?
Well, yes, the public was deceived by the government, and for all these years, the government is still deceiving the public.
Julian Assange, that Julian Assange, he's rotting in bloody jail in England because he had the audacity to tell people throughout the world what a government was actually keeping from its people. Why is the bloody government keeping secrets in the first place?
Would you have the nerve to talk about it?
Oh, I know it's all about national security and all that bullshit, but it doesn't really wash, does it? I don't know how the government's going to win back our trust. And you and me, that's right, you and me, we got to be a bit more alert about what's going on and hold more people accountable for what they bloody say.
It makes me feel like my government has failed me. It makes me feel like there is little to be trusted about the U.S. government with regard to the national security state anymore.